part of this discussion is what happens with the group of 5 schools. Is because right now with the 12-team playoff, one of the seeds automatically goes to the group of 5. And the biggest conversation right now is about expanding the college football playoff because there's only, 12 spots for 136 schools. And, I did the research yesterday. There are 68 Power 4 schools if you include Notre Dame into that conversation. So you have 68 schools going for 11 spots, and then the rest of the schools going for 1 spot. I'm trying to understand why, if you were a group of 5 president, why you wouldn't be pushing for either an expansion to 24 teams so that you can get more group of 5 schools in, or just having your own playoff. Because I don't see...
Like the NIT in men's basketball?
Exactly, because I don't see, what is that devaluing? You're giving your season more meaning, because bowl games are whatever, right? People look at bowl games as they're just like these, these jokes that you can play, and it's not that serious anymore to play in one of these New Year's Six games if it's not going to be the college football playoff games. So if you're the group of 5, I would be pushing for our own individual, our own college football playoff, because the revenue that would bring in from, an expanded TV deal and your season would matter. Because right now they're sort of they're like the sacrificial lambs for these, Power 4 schools, where they're just going out there, they get blown out. Sometimes you get an upset win, or otherwise you play your full season and it's just one school out of all the schools who are in the group of 5 who are making it into, we'll call it like the March Madness tournament, and that's it. So I think they should just have their own playoff. And if there is, maybe you have the one school who rules them all, who gets into the, the big boy tournament, and you have it that way, and the rest of the schools play in the group of 5 tournament. That's just, my
So
take
the
on it.
Pop-Tart Bowl, you're saying
Yeah.
people aren't excited to play in that because it doesn't mean anything. What it does, they get paid for it, so it's something. But make the Pop-Tart Bowl part of a set of bowls that can lead to a champion. It's like a second-tier champion. So literally like the NIT. And the NIT's been having trouble staying alive recently because bubble teams for the NCAA are so angry at the NCAA men's basketball tournament, where they're pondering expansion too, that they don't even want to play in the NIT because they think it's an insult.
Yeah.
And so the best of the worst of the best are supposed to go play in that second-tier tournament, and the worst of the best aren't, so you're left with the best of the worst. And so in college football, they're deciding shortly about expanding, and whether there's a lot of proposals about going to 16, go to 24. You've got the Big Ten fighting right now, and SEC as they're trying to guarantee spots. Why? Because spots in the CFP equals money to your program. The same fights that Michigan and USC are having over the Big Ten private equity. It's about the allocation, how much money comes into your program. So the only way that it works, what you're saying, is if the money that a team gets for being in one of these bowls that you say don't matter, like the Pop-Tart Bowl is the one I keep thinking of, but there's 100 bowl games now.
Yeah.
The money would have to be greater because it's already being televised. It's already being sponsored. So incrementally, if it were a tournament, would there be incremental increase, like in a final game of this?
Yeah, but you're
tier?
not getting rid of bowl games, because there are still teams who are not making it into the, we'll call it like the 1A and the 1B college football playoff. So if you have, it's sort of would be the same thing. So it's like the teams who are not in the 1A or the 1B are still there to play in these other bowl games. So they can go play in the Pop-Tart Bowl, and the Pop-Tart Bowl would be able to take another team who didn't make it into, one of these 2 tournaments and have them that way. So you're just
How many teams? How many teams would be in the big tournament in your mind? 24? 24 in the main CFP?
Well, no, we can have 12 and 12. You can have it
12
split.
and 12. So
yeah,
any
we can have
team
12
in the
and
top
12.
24 is going to be the first 12 are in the big boy tournament, as you called it. The second 12 are in the secondary tournament.
No,
which
but no. group of 5. It would only be group of 5 schools in that other secondary tournament. It is not power. It's not another place for Power 5 or Power 4 teams to go and play. So it wouldn't be like the NIT where you're having, the
Mm-hmm.
fifth place team in the Big Ten going
Right.
down and playing in the NIT. This would just be, the Conference USA's, the American Conference, the Sun Belt, having those schools give meaning to their seasons. Because
So
right
have you
now,
created a super league?
there already is a Super League. We're seeing it. That's what I'm saying, is that there are 11 spots that go to Power 4 programs and only one spot that goes to the group of 5. And right now you have 60, I think it's 68 and 68. So you have 68 schools who are vying for one spot. Why not just have them have their own separate tournaments? So you have those 68 schools, going for their own 12 spots. That's what I'm trying to get at, because right now the way it looks is like the group of 5 seasons are really meaningless if you're just playing for one thing. And if these smaller schools still need more money, having another tournament that you can go out and sell the media rights to those tournaments, because there are definitely networks out there who want more of this sports programming, because we see how meaningful college football is. And then you add college football with stakes, like like a single elimination tournament, you're going to get more people watching those games. You're going to get more interest in those games. You're going to get more gamblers interested in those games, more fans interested in those games. So the money will come, and these smaller schools in these smaller conferences are going to get that, much needed revenue that they can put into whatever their NIL, funds. They can put it into their stadium upgrades. They can give it to their coaching staffs, their players, whatever they need to, because these schools are like we talk about, is as the Power 4 grows bigger and the gap grows bigger, these smaller schools are going to have to start getting rid of their programs. And this is one way that you can try and put a Band-Aid, on those programs disappearing.
Coke, I have an idea for you.
Yes, sir.
if we were if we were journalists,
Mm-hmm.
so back at CBS, if there'd be an idea like this, they'd encourage us, hey, write it down, make an article of it. Well, guess what? We're with Pablo and Dan. We're part of Metalark. Your camera just went totally fuzzy, by the way. Did you do something weird?
It's the focus. So when I went to go get a drink, but keep going. You're a
Okay.
professional. Okay.
Why can't, no, I'm just, but I had my eyes dilated yesterday and I felt like I was moving backwards. There you go. You're back. Why don't you put in writing? Because we can get this in front of Tony Petitti. We can get this in front of presidents of, I bet you between the two of us, we know 15 to 20 presidents who we could get this in front of immediately. We can get it in front of Skipper. What would you pay for this sort of tournament? The reason I'm asking is there are people sitting in rooms right now, literally now, because it's that time of day, discussing what to do with CFP, fighting amongst themselves. And it sounds like your answer, I like it. So it sounds like it adds value everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but there must be something we're missing. So take the time, write down like bullet points. You don't have to write complete sentences. It doesn't have to be PowerPoint, but just the bullet points, and let's run it by some of the people who are in charge, because what you're saying makes sense, but it's not being done. And my business experience tells me when something that good is not being done, it means that we're missing something.